On the schedule for today is a little light goat wrestling. Wow, I talked bad about them and then they made that really easy. Usually it's never easy. Everybody's got a headbutt since they've all been separated. Except my good girl, Miss May May. Mayhem, you don't cause trouble, do ya? Our goats have been separated out and with bucks. And basically, if they were to get pregnant right now, they would be due like in mid to late May. And we decided, talking this morning, that we were going to go ahead and pull all the girls out, put them in here, because we do not want to have summer kids again. The last couple of years we've had kids in like July, and you know, when they're being born in the heat like that, parasites are a little harder to deal with, and then also they're just not quite old enough when the wet season comes to be super strong against parasites. So because we have lost kids the last 2 years, we decided to go ahead and pull all the does out of being in with bucks, separate all our girls so that we won't have any kids past late May. Some of my girls I know are not bred. They just didn't have enough time exposed. Some of them I never did expose. I couldn't find a La Mancha buck, and I decided to wait on those does. So we're gonna wait a little bit, hopefully get the bucks that we want, and we will breed for some fall babies for next year. They're having to work back out their pecking order. I don't really know what the correct terminology is, but they're all headbutting. These girls have all been together for quite a while, but since they've been separated in separate yards, they're kind of having to reestablish who the boss is. Maggie doesn't care who the boss is, she just wants to know where the food is. Is that right, Mags? I bought lights for my coop and I need to bring them out here. I'm gonna miss my chance. It's time for some clean bedding in here. Hey, Hasty. We're not getting any eggs right now. I know some people's chickens still lay in the winter. Mine never have. Mine have always stopped laying when the light gets low. And I don't put in supplemental light. So after the solstice, the days start getting longer again. And so by about February, they'll start laying. But I'm okay with giving them a break. I decided to come over to the garden from the chicken coop and check on my garlic, since I haven't even looked at it since we put it in the ground. But there are little shoots sticking up there, so here's another one. And keep that good and mulched until the spring. The garden at this point is pretty well asleep. I still have some turnips growing. The greens have gotten pretty wilted, but the roots are still good. I've got some lettuce, some of the hardier type, some Merlot lettuce, and a couple of them that have withstood some pretty low temperatures. We've gotten down to about 20. I've got lots of thyme right there. I've got marjoram. Some of the lettuces aren't doing as well as the others. Like this Paris Island said no sir the first time it got really cold. I've got lots of broccoli doing pretty good. Nice tight heads on these. As you can see, some of the leaves are struggling. My cabbages look pretty good. Now they're not growing real fast, and the heads in them are pretty small, so we're kind of just waiting to see what happens here. I've been harvesting kale, which is doing just fine. This is a red boar kale. Now, not much survived at this point in the kids' garden, but there are a handful of carrots down here. Get down, Con. And I wanted to see, I'm gonna have the kids come pull them if they're gonna be worth much. They'd actually kind of gotten spread out here, washed down to this other side. And some of them are way too close together. So this is just a mess of carrots and some weeds. And I'm just curious if there's, it's not too bad. Quit. Dogs don't eat carrots. I don't know, I think we could probably get enough out of this little space to make some soup or something. Next year there will definitely be a fence around the kids' garden. These, now this is obviously like a little bit of a squirt, but these are red samurai carrots. And they're supposed to be pretty good. It's my first time growing them. I was not going to judge this variety based on this grow out because obviously we didn't give them a very good chance putting them in there, not thinning them. The dogs just wreaked havoc on that garden. Now that it's just girls in this yard, I'm gonna let the young ladies out. We had them isolated while we had the buck in here because we didn't want them to get bred before they were ready. Look at these little piggies. Came up and started grabbing those leaves. I can have that one. Merry Christmas, Magdalene. Winter is hands down like the least romantic time on a farm. I've always said that winter will test your love of the thing because, I mean, now it's not even that cold. Like, we're getting into the season where it's just not pretty. It's mud, like everything is muddy. Once it gets to be, you know, mid to late January and it's like 15 degrees out here, you're having to come out and bust waters 3 times a day and everything stinks and you know, it's either muddy or frozen. There's a reason why by April every year I am longing for the green to come back and for the spring to come. Then once it gets in full swing and it's kicking my butt because the amount of work it is, I'm always like, oh yeah, this is why this cycle works so well, because you get to the point that you're so desperately longing for the spring that when it comes and it's so hard, you're like, oh wait, I asked for this. I was ready for this. I wanted this. At least it's not dead. At least it's not winter. At least it's not stinking and cold and barren. It's all cycles, all for a reason. Maybe it's just because of how bad I wanted it, but even when it's kind of fruitless and smelly and just kind of hard, I still love it. But in the early months of the year, like in the dead of winter, I park myself right here and look out over that garden, and I do just desperately long for it. It's funny because like right now I know that's coming. It's Christmas is right here and I'm just like really excited. I love this time of year. There's just so much time with family and you know, spending time just enjoying each other and fellowship and good food, and I love it. But I know that we're almost to that point of really being like, okay, a farm is what I want, and like just digging into the planning and the dreaming and the waiting. I wrote some good songs last winter. That's when Daniel still lived here, and we wrote some really good songs sitting at this window because I couldn't garden. I didn't have anything else to do outside. All of my other kids are at my mom's today because they are having like a fun Christmas craft day. Jackson got out of school a little bit early. And so we are about to wrap all the presents for his siblings. I mean, he's feeling pretty grown because he knows what everybody's getting for Christmas.
Except for myself.
Except for yourself, which is the way it should be, right?
Well, yeah.
Okay, tape it.
I did.
Okay, now you're gonna fold the sides down.
Okay.
Like that. You know how?
Yeah.
My house is like caked with dust because of the remodel. But I'm pretty sure that as of like the next day or so, all the HVAC work is gonna be fixed. My cousin's husband has taken such good care of us in that. And although we're not gonna be as far along as we would hoped to have been by Christmas time, we are at least going to have spaces for our guests to stay, which is a good thing. They might have to pass through some remodeling to get to the spaces, but there will be spaces. Sweet Maya, having a kid old enough to wrap presents is really nice. Jackson is getting it done. Typically I wait until the night before and then wrap all the presents by myself, so this is much better. there's really only so much of the present wrapping that I can show you guys because my kids weren't born yesterday, and they know how to get on mom's vlog. And they do, so I can't put that much of it out there. So thank you guys so much for watching. I think this is where we will part our ways today. Appreciate you. God bless you. Until next time.